Welcome to episode 8 of the EweKnitty podcast. My name is Kelly and this is my friend Jane, and we are two UK designers who are sharing our love for all things yarn related and knitting related and crochet related and all the shenanigans. Here at EweKnitty, we aim to make our space welcoming to all, so please have a giggle and make some friends in the comments below. So you can find us on Instagram under EweKnitty Podcast and Facebook under EweKnitty Podcast. And we podcast every 2 weeks, although recently we've been podcasting every week because we've been catching up with Jane having COVID.
And the Yarndale special.
And the Yarn Day special.
Yeah.
But yes, it's normally every 2 weeks.
Pretty much.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, how's your week been?
Oh, not bad. Not bad. A bit stressful.
Yeah? It's been giving you the stress.
Oh, do we need to? It would be the MKAL, probably. It's not been the funnest of MKAL starts.
I was going to ask you what you're working on, but I'm guessing probably.
Yeah.
A lot of time spent with the MKAL.
Yeah, it's been stressing me out. It's not too bad. I'm kind of like moving on, but yeah. Now you were working on it, weren't you?
Yeah, well, we said we would both work on it, and we'd chat and sit and have a cuppa and have something to do together. And then I was so excited because I've never done knit along. And I said, I've got some time. I'm going to do this. I'm going to knit something purely for pleasure. And pleasure, it was not pretty quickly. The whole thing, well, not quite as literally as yours, started to unravel. Is it too soon?
Oh, but I learned something. I learned a new thing, so that's okay. But yeah. Oh, dear me.
Yeah, I don't think we said this is the Stephen West, the West Knits Mystery Knit Along 2023.
Yes, the Geogradient. Yes, Shawl Knit Along by Stephen West, which is like basically pretty much every knitter who's online on the planet knows that it pops up and everybody starts doing it. A majority of people start doing it and other people just watch along. Everybody knows what it is pretty much, don't they? Because it's everywhere.
It is
and
everywhere.
It's such a big, like, normally. I've done it. This is my 3rd year of doing it. And normally it's just such a big social event and it's brilliant and everyone's knitting the same thing the same time and you can all like talk about it and you can either see the spoilers or not see the spoilers and wait till you finish. And I'm in the I like to knit blind camp and then I'll look at the spoilers at the end. But some people like to see the spoilers first. And it's so much fun normally. But this year kind of took a big nosedive right at the beginning. And
Well, I really enjoyed picking the yarns out because you decided you were going to go budget friendly. So you chose, what were the yarns that you chose?
Drops. So I've got drops. One drop's Flora and then the other 3 are drops Nord.
In some lovely shades of blue.
Shades of blue. Yeah, I can show you.
Yeah, go on then.
I will show you, but there will be spoilers. So if you're watching this, it'll be spoilers up to clue 2, just in case someone doesn't want to see that.
Okay, but, you could just show the yarn.
I could just show the yarn. So hang on, I'll show you the ones that are still bold.
And I decided that I would have a dig through my stash because I've got lots and lots and lots of sock yarn. But I did say to Kelly, I think they're mostly quite variegated and speckled. And, he was suggesting there were 4 tonal or solid shades. And then I started to dig through my stash and I was pulling out just skein after skein of exactly what I needed, which made you laugh, didn't it?
Yeah.
No, I haven't got any.
I've got no solids.
Turns out I've got quite a problem.
Because this is what mine were. So that's the only drops Flora, which is basically the same, apart from it doesn't have any polyamide in. And then the other 3 is Nord, which does have polyamide in. They're both like wool and alpaca. So it's like got a bit of fuzz. You can't really see it, but it does have a bit of a fuzz. But yeah, they were my 4 colours. It's just, yeah, the first week kind of without like, obviously, for those of you who don't know, the first week was a square that we had to knit like kind of modularly, didn't we? We were like picking bits up and casting them on and going around like in funny shapes.
Well, I have a picture which will pop in here, which
Oh, right,
shows
okay.
my yarn colours and the very first part of Clue 1. So you get an idea of how this was coming together. So it's literally
Yeah,
the first quarter, I think. I got
yeah.
as far as there. So we'll pop that
We'll
picture
pop
in
that
so you
in.
can see what we're talking about. Sorry, Kelly, you were saying.
No,
So
you're all right. So yes, we cast on and we started knitting so much, but then in the Ravelry group, Stephen West has a Ravelry group that has all spoiler pictures in. And I always stay well clear of that because I don't, like I said, I like to knit blind, don't like to see the spoilers. But I also have a little group running in my Discord where we're all chatting and sharing pictures in there, which are spoilered. And one of the girls in Discord said, "Oh, there's a bit of thing going on in Ravelry." And I was like, "Oh, I'm not going in there because I'll see spoilers." And then she come back and she said, "It's getting really bad." And basically somebody had said in the Ravelry forum that the centerpiece for Clue 1 looked like a swastika. And so then that was it then. It was said and it just went crazy. Now at first I couldn't see the swastika. So I was like, "Oh, what's going on? I don't understand." And it kind of without like what's the word I'm looking for, but without like minimising the effect of if people saw the swastika or the effect of what a swastika can have on a person, without minimising that, the fun started getting sucked straight out of the MKAL because it was like all this drama is going on basically, and you then even if you didn't want to see, you had to go and look at the clue to see what was going on and if you could see it and all these shenanigans happening.
I remember getting to that point and thinking, okay, so we're going to have to make some changes.
Yeah.
Because you would hate to be posting pictures
Yeah.
online, to be wearing your shawl, and somebody suddenly being hit in the face with a swastika is like absolutely not acceptable, obviously.
Oh, no.
So we found a colouring page. Somebody had done
someone in the Ravelry, yes, they'd made the colouring page.
So we started colouring in, didn't we? And trying to work out how we could reorder these stripes to break up the illusion of a swastika. You had the 4 colours, and wherever I managed to put the darkest shade, I couldn't then not see it.
That was me. As soon as I started colouring in, that's all I could see. And it didn't matter what I did, it was all I could see. It was like that. It's like I'm trying to colour in a swastika and stop it from looking like a swastika. It was just, it was horrible. And then I think we both figured out a way where we were happy with it, weren't we?
Yeah, I broke one of the stripes rather than them being, they were 8-row blocks, weren't they?
Yeah.
So I broke one of those up into 2 rows of each colour.
That's right.
So they were almost like little rainbows in there.
Yes.
And that helped a lot. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to sit on this for a couple of days because in the meantime, Stephen West was putting out videos and
clue
messages and saying, here's a replacement clue. And I thought, I'm not going to do anything else until the dust settles and I see where this is going. And then quite quickly he put out a revised clue and it didn't spark joy in me. It just, I thought it was boring. I really did.
As a knitwear designer, I can completely understand. Like a lot of people have said it's boring, and I thought it was boring. It's just basically concentric squares coming out, isn't it? But for him to have to pull out a new design in the matter of hours is like, it's not going to be something dramatic and all fancy. There's no way. No. It's going to be a boring thing because there's nothing else he could have done. So, like, on that side of it, I get it. But I was like, I'm so not wanting to knit that.
That's what I mean by boring. Yeah, it didn't make me want to pick those needles up.
No, me.
I had already put the project on the naughty step, and Actually, they're in the other room, but I have the Kallax boxes, the pattern I did many years ago with the exact same square, and I knit that many times over, and they went on the front of Kallax boxes. And I was like, I don't really want to revisit that. That's not what I wanted. And there, I couldn't have pulled something else out of the bag to replace what he had in that time frame, and still don't know how he did it. The stress that he must have been under.
He must have had a horrendous week last week.
Oh, my heart goes out to him.
I haven't been back into the Ravelry forum, but I have heard through my Discord group that the Ravelry forum and also the Facebook group that was running, obviously run by somebody else, because I think Stephen West only does and moderates the Ravelry one. Apparently some of the comments in there were absolutely heinous, just disgusting comments. And that to me is just like you're adults. Like, play nice. It's ridiculous. So it really did suck all the fun and energy and everything out of it. And a lot of people have given up, have just went, I'm not doing it. And there's a lot of people as well, it was their first one. And that's just so sad because it's taken all that joy away. And I know that it wasn't intentional. Of course, it wasn't intentional. But it's so sad that it's gone that way. However, I've now moved into Clue 2, and I'm doing my own little vlog on my podcast, and I've said at the beginning of the Clue 2 one, like, I want to draw a line. I don't want to keep talking about it because I want to move it into like the fun aspect of the MKAL. And Clue 2, I'm not going to lie, Clue 2 is boring. Oh. However, it looks nice. And I didn't do the concentric square in the end. I ended up getting one of the test knitters from Stephen West had done 4 triangles, and they were kind of like they changed the order of the striping at different points. So it kind of looks like an out of place shifted square. It's like an odd looking square. And I did that. And as Jane was saying, because it was 4 triangles and you have to join them together as you knit, I didn't realise that if you miss one stitch at the end of one of the rows, if you start to pull, all the rest will come apart. You've just got to reconnect. But I didn't know that. So I thought they were all just coming apart and I hadn't connected them properly. And I ended up having to restart on my second square. Now I've learned that you just have to keep going. But whatever, I've learned something. And I always learn something doing an MKAL, so there we go. But I've done these weird triangles, but now that concentric square, when I've seen some of the girls in my Discord have now added Clue 2 to it, it looks amazing. And I'm quite jealous. I wish I'd done the concentric square.
Oh, no.
Honestly, it looks so good. It's like really mesmerising and you're like, whoa, it looks really cool, especially in some of the colours. I'll ask the girls and I will share some of the pictures of what's been in the Discord so far. But again, spoilers. There will be spoilers. But only for Clue 2. So, yeah. And I think when this goes out, I think Clue 3 would be out by then. Yes,
yeah,
when this is out.
So if you're going to put those pictures in, do you want to show us what you've got so far?
So I will show you mine. I've only done half of Clue 2 because it's just boring to knit.
You've got other things you want to do.
And I'm just like, oh, and I'm kind of sick of stripes as well. But it's pretty. So this is my weird triangle thing in the middle.
It looks lovely. It really does.
And then this is the first half of Clue 2. So the other side comes out this side. So you just do the same again, but on the other side. And he did say about a mohair dare in Clue 2.
No.
So I know. Jane's like, I don't think so. But I had some leftover mohair from when I did my ranunculus. It's like, it doesn't show very well there, but it's kind of like a light lilac. So I just put it with colour one. But it doesn't really stand out as well as I wanted it to. It's like in these bits, where can you see? In these bits here, but it doesn't stand out very well. But it's still in there. I did the dare. But yeah, so I do like mine, but now I'm kind of wishing I had this square, just the concentric square. Oh, but you know, it's how it goes, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean that's why I kind of put it to one side and I thought, okay, let's wait and see what happens with Clue 2. And I saw more stripes and it didn't make me, I didn't get FOMO. I didn't think, right,
It's not
I need
been.
to be. So the
There's a
yarn is
lot of
back in the
cutting.
cupboard.
There's a lot of cutting and cutting your yarn to do the next stripe, and there's so many ends. Like, I actually, on mine, I sewed in all the ends on this before going forward because I was looking at the back of this and I couldn't cope. Like, I honestly was getting really, really stressed out, and I was like, I can't cope with that many ends at the end. Like, if I don't do them now, when I finish this, I'll never sew them in. So I sat and I made myself do them for that square, and now I've got these for this one. But it's like, oh, ends, man, come on. Like, ends.
Did you use the weaving Steven technique?
I did. Now, a lot of people have complained about it this time. I think because it doesn't sit as nice in garter stitch, and it's all garter. Well, majority is garter. It doesn't sit as nice in garter stitch, so a lot of people have complained about it, but I don't really mind it. I just tend to weave it back afterwards, and then I'm done.
Yeah, I think you probably need to if you're using the superwash sock yarn or something like that, because it's just a bit slippy. It'll be
Yeah.
fine with the mohair, but I do wonder, unless you carry it for maybe the
See,
entire
mine's,
row,
I
and then
know.
that gets excessive.
Mine's alpaca, so it's got quite a lot of grip in it anyway. It's quite furry, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I wouldn't if I was using the sock yarns like these big kits and everything, I'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah, see,
To
mine
be
was sock
honest,
yarn.
it would be like filling me with just I'd be so like pent up and awful if I was snipping expensive sock yarn as much as I've been cutting that. I'd just be like, oh my God. Like you could knit a jumper out of the waist, honestly. The amount you're cutting it. There's a lot. There's a lot of cutting. But they're always a bit like, you do an MKAL and it's always a bit like, oh, really? There's always a part of it where you're like, oh, do I have to do this again? So as much as I love it, there's also a part of it that I'm like, oh.
So that was my short-lived MKAL journey.
I know.
But if you want to follow the rest of it, and you pop on over to Kelly's Roro and Cade's channel, I'm sure Kelly won't give in. She'll see it through to the end because she's that kind of girl.
I will. I will see it through to the end. I'm really excited for Clue 3 because I'm like, come on. It can't be stripes again. It's got to be something interesting. Come on. What are you going to give us?
I'm going to have absolutely no internet connection at all when Clue 3 comes out. Just because if you don't like it, then I haven't got to listen.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. Oh, honestly. No, I'm sure it'll be great. I've got all hope for it.
I'll just start sending you more Stardew Valley memes.
Yes. And then I'll never get it finished because I'll just be in my farm. Oh, dear.
Kelly messaged me last night saying, I need to work on the MKAL, but I really want to play Stardew Valley.
I did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I did? I finished Clue 9, Section 9, which is the first side of Clue 2. And then you're supposed to do Section 10, which is the other side. I finished the Section 9 and I was like, I'm going to my farm. I'm not casting on Section 10. Going to my farm. And I did. I went and did an hour and a half. I was supposed to do an hour. I was there for an hour and a half.
And how are things with you and Sebastian today?
It's going quite well, actually. Oh, dear.
You're going to have to explain that one for anybody that doesn't play Stardew Valley.
Oh, dear. So Stardew Valley is a farming game that me and Jane both play. Well, Jane doesn't play it anymore, but you used to, didn't you?
I know it well. I've put a lot of hours into Stardew Valley on the PC.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. So you build your farm and you live in this village and you have to make friends in the village, but you can also marry somebody. And there's a selection of 12 characters, I think, that you can choose to marry. And I've targeted one of them called Sebastian. I'm trying to get him to marry him because if you marry them, they help you on the farm. So it's like, I've got other stuff to do, mate. You can water the plants. I'm out. So yeah, I need to get Sebastian to marry me.
Just so you can exploit him.
Yes, exploit him with his watering can. Oh dear.
So last night when you were trying to be good, I just kept sending little pictures of Sebastian and love hearts. And yeah, goodbye.
She's mean to me.
Sometimes.
She's trying to be a good girl and knit the MKAL. Oh, so what have you been knitting on instead of the MKAL then?
I have been knitting on. Right, if you're wondering why I keep looking down today, I just realised I haven't said, on my hand down here is one fluffy little Bertie. Yes, can I have my hand back, please? Just that's it. I'll be back in a minute. Sorry. Just lean over you to get... Can I get my sock? Just blink at me. Right. Really sorry. I have been sock knitting for pleasure, and it has been glorious because it's been ages since I've had time just to knit myself some socks.
I love that.
So I had been watching Little Drops of Wonderful, Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful, and she does Strictly Sock Along, and I hadn't yet started watching Strictly this year, so I thought, okay, so I'm going to pop Strictly on and I'm going to start knitting some socks. And then I thought, oh, I can enter the Strictly Sock Along with my sock because I'm knitting my sock watching Strictly, and I've been sitting thinking about all the little cheats because you don't only have to watch Strictly and knit your sock, but there's this big culture in that sock along about coming up with creative cheats as to why you can enter.
Right.
So if you have a picture of Anton de Beck in your knitting bag, that counts. If you are linked to someone in Strictly, that counts. If you have Strictly, I think she says you have Strictly in your heart. But for me, I just always hear the theme tune. As soon as I use the word Strictly, it starts, and I'm tone deaf, so I'm not going to hum it at you. But I get this earworm, and it's as I'm knitting along. So I thought, okay. So that was Saturday night. I had a lot of fun. Hadn't realised, I think it was Leighton Williams. Fantastic. I hadn't realised he was on it. So thoroughly enjoyed that. And decided I would cast on I'm Too Socksy. Look at that.
Look how far you've got.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I'm quite nifty with the sock knitting. In the Yarn Badger. So if you remember the Yarndale episode, I brought the Yarn Badger set with the contrasting heel, cuff and toe. And I'm... Where are you going, Bertie? Nobody needs to see your bottom. He's just been to the groomers, so he is nice and fresh, but still, nobody needs... He's turned his back on me. I think we've had a row.
Oh.
So yes, I'm Too Socksy sock nearly completed.
So are you double dipping in the KALs? Double dipping KALs. Look at you go.
Double decadent, because I don't usually get time to knit socks. So I am so happy with myself. I've just been sitting there. I was like,
oh, I love that, because you never knit for yourself. That's so good.
No, I thought I need a new pair of nice socks. Now it's getting cooler. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to work my way through some of that stash.
Brilliant.
Myself. So I'm a very happy girl. So I hope you have watched, not you, because you've made it with me and you've seen it and you've edited it. But episode 7, which is all about socks.
Yes. Oh, you need to watch that episode.
Yes.
Because otherwise you won't have a clue what we're on about either.
That's true. I mean...
Yeah. It would be making zero sense. But you need to watch that episode because we have a sock pattern out, which is I'm Too Socksy. I should have brought them with me and I haven't, so I'll stick a picture up. Rubbish. But we've got this new sock pattern out, I'm Too Socksy. And if you get that pattern and knit them and tag us on Instagram, Too Socksy EK, EK for EweKnitty, just in case you're wondering. Oh, there they are, look. You can be entered to win an amazing prize.
You can.
An amazing prize, which we need to say, because we didn't last time, we were very naughty, but most of it was kindly donated by King Cole. So thank you very much to King Cole. Sorry.
That was really generous of you.
It was.
We got so excited with that. And we've got this, and we've got this,
and we've got this.
this.
So yes, thank you very much to King Cole for donating some of the stuff. But yes, if you knit the two I'm Too Socksy Socks, it's hard to say sometimes. If you knit those by the 26th of November and tag us on Instagram. Now, if you're in my Discord channel, and you are very welcome to join, I'll drop the link below if you're not in there already. There is a knit along channel in there where you can share your whips and finished ones and everything else. So if you're not on Instagram, because I know there's a couple of people in my Discord that are not on Instagram and I don't want them to be left out. So if you're not on Instagram, we will take your finished photo from in there and put that in the pot when we're randomly picking the winner as well. But Discord link will be below if you want to join, but you don't have to be part of the Discord. You just need to tag us on Instagram, Too Socksy EK, so we can see them. And I can't wait. Can't wait to see them. And you don't have to use self-striping either, because I know some people don't like self-striping. So you can use whatever you want, as long as it's sock yarn. Otherwise it'd be a bit weird.
It's a great stash buster. So if you've got loads of
minis.
Minis, leftovers, you can just play around and it'd be really nice to see some of your creations.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I'm dead excited.
Yeah. So the prize pack, if you are entered and pulled as the winner, you will receive. I'm looking down because my memory will not allow me to do
too
this
much.
Without. The Peter Rabbit project bag from Jibby Russo's, the zigzag sock yarn from King Cole, the cotton sock yarn from King Cole, some button badges, the stitch markers from Kelly, of your choice, and a copy of the Lazy Sunday Socks book by me. And you can see all of those prizes in detail if you go back and watch episode 7 of the podcast.
Yes, please do.
Yes. At the time of recording, the sock pattern went out this morning and you've already been grabbing that. So I can't wait to see them start appearing on Instagram.
I know.
And that little bit of me is worried about crickets.
Oh, I know. I always get that.
Whenever you do anything, it's like,
I know.
What if nobody wants to play with me?
I know. It's that horrible, isn't it? What if nobody likes it? But no, it's going to be great. I'm going to cast on mine very, very soon. We've got till the 26th of November, so I'm going to be one of the ones coming in late because I've got to finish this thing first.
Oh, the joy in your heart.
I know. I do actually want to do it. It's just that right now I'm still recovering from last week, I think, and I'm still a bit delicate. So I just need to get into the heart of the MKAL, and hopefully week 3 it'll be just we've forgotten week 1. It's in the past, hopefully.
Yes.
But yeah,
I do hope it starts to bring you joy.
I know, so do I.
Especially after September, because I mean, you had such a...
I know. Awful September.
It
was just so... I had too much on, yes. So I knitted my little heart out and my heart actually fell out, I think. But then, like, now I've gone into the MKAL all excited and I'm like, no, come on. So, yeah, that's why I've ended up in my Stardew Valley farm.
I told you I've been escaping to Coral Island, which is a similar game.
I know.
Which I've been suggesting
I'm still going to
take a look at.
Yes.
So I do exactly the same. I disappear off. into
We
my
escape.
farm. I do.
We escape, we do.
Yeah.
So, we've got a question this
Question
week.
time.
Question time. So, Angie asked, what is the best and worst part of publishing patterns? Ooh. Now, you published a lot more than me.
I can start with something I've just said.
Go on then.
Crickets.
Yeah.
That you put something out into the world and nobody gives it a like or a share or a purchase, because it's really nice to get a purchase, but if somebody shares something that you've made, it was just like, I thought you might like this. Just
I know.
Yeah, that makes my day.
Yeah.
But that is the low point, I think. And no, you come in with a high. Otherwise, I'm just sitting here going, "Oh, it's a terrible job because this happens and this happens," and it's really not
a high when you get a share. That's a high.
That's a high.
I think it's just the highs is like seeing people knitting and wearing the thing that come out of your brain. That's like, it's like, oh my God, like that was in there and now it's on your feet or something. It's like, oh, that's what's really good. I love that. And I love seeing everybody's interpretation of it. So good. Yeah, I do love that part. I think for me, the down, especially when working for magazines, is just the stress. I just get so stressed. Now, you work for a lot more magazines than me, and you've done it a lot more, whereas I tend to self-publish. You tend to magazine publish, don't you?
Yeah.
So I think because I'm kind of not in that flow, when I do get a magazine job, it's like it's more serious, and I've like got a knuckle down, and then I'm like, I just get so stressed. Like, what if they don't like it? What if it's wrong? What if this is... And then I'm waiting for the email to tell me that it's wrong and I need to rewrite this and that. And then it's like when it's finally, I see the picture of it in the magazine, it's like then I know no one's coming for me. I know it's right. It's like, oh, thank God for that. The job is done, finally. It's in print. I'm finished.
And I'm thinking, because you've worked for these magazines numerous times, they probably don't send them back to you and say, rewrite that entire pattern, do they?
I don't know. I've had that once when I was pregnant with Rowan, my 7-year-old. I'd written a jumper pattern and sent it to Let's Knit magazine. And then they sent it back to me and they said, there's errors and we can't really figure it out. Can you have another look at it? And when I looked at it, it was absolute gibberish. It made no sense from start to finish. And I was like, I had to rewrite the whole thing because I was like, I'm really sorry, that's my baby brain. And then I was like, I can't do garments. I stepped right back from doing garments for them. And I don't think I did do another garment after, but I took a really long sabbatical from garments because of that, because it was just so bad. And I knew it was baby brain. Like, I knew that wasn't just me, but it was like, oh, this is horrendous. Like, they must have looked at it and went, what is she on? This makes a teapot. But yeah. So I have had that once, but that's the only time. And I did have a very big excuse. Oh, but I think, no, there's so many good parts of it. It is stressful. And it is always like, hi, birdie. It is always like a, like the worry of the crickets, and the more that I work on a pattern, the closer it gets to release, the more the imposter syndrome starts going, you can't do this. Why are you even trying? And all of this stuff. There's all of that side of it, but it is just the absolute joy of seeing them out there, and seeing them in print is amazing. And then seeing the posh magazine photos, I'm always like, oh. Instead of just me stood in my bathroom with the selfie camera. So yeah, it is fun. I do love it. And you obviously do. You've got like 500 and odd patterns.
I like getting I get pictures sent to me from people who have knitted for children and perhaps don't want to put that picture on social media, so they send it to me. And I've finished garments.
I
Yeah.
know, because I remember when I knit your the dinosaur one that I put Rowan in, and I was trying to get a photo of him, and he just would not stand still because he was so like, oh, look at this, what's amazing.
You see a project pop up on your Ravelry page on your socials and you think, that looks better than mine. I wish I'd used that yarn.
Yep, definitely. And then you're like messaging them going, could I use that as my pattern photo, please? Would you mind if I just...
That's
In fact,
really lovely.
do you know what? My Ballad of the Tenderfoot socks, the entire pattern, I knitted them in a blue yarn that was coop knits. And one of my test knitters, Katie, who is Songbird Handmade, she's amazing at photos. She did these gorgeous photos. She was like on a bridge in the woods, and then she was by the beach. And I was like, I was looking at them, and mine, I'd gone down in the bottom of the garden, I'd stood on a rock, and I tried to take some photos, and I was like, they're just absolutely rubbish. And I looked at hers, and I was like, Katie. So she was like, yeah, of course you can. So my pattern is all Katie's, but she's in Canada.
Oh, how lovely.
That's all Katie. And every time someone tags them, I'm like, Katie, look at your feet. So the pattern is actually...
She's got it on a CV now. I'm a foot model.
Yeah. I'll pop some pictures up, but yeah, it's all Katie. It's not me. Because her pictures were so much better than mine.
I think I've broken Bertie.
Oh, no.
Because he can't hear you. Because you're in my ear. So I've been sat here talking at the computer for the last 40 minutes, and he's now giving me the side eye with the, I think you and I need a chat.
Are you sure you're all right, Mum?
At least a cup of tea. Sorry,
bless
Bertie.
him.
Sorry. Would you like to go and tell Dad that I've lost the plot? No? Okay.
Is he still happy?
Okay. I'm not really a therapy dog. I'm not very good at it.
Oh,
sorry.
So should we talk about some squishy balls?
Not in front of Bertie, because he lost his a while ago. Cover your ears.
Oh dear. Oh.
Yes, of course. Squishy ball time.
Squishy ball time. Squishy ball time. So what have we been playing with this week, Jane?
You could have phrased that better. This week we have been looking at the lovely folks at Wool Warehouse. Sent us some of their new yarn. Yarnsmiths is their yarn label, and the yarn is called Play Baby DK, which is a baby yarn. It says what it is on the tin. And I think we have varying opinions on this. It's 100% premium acrylic. So I knew instantly Kelly was going to be like, okay, this is going one of two ways.
She thinks I'm a snob.
Yarn snob.
Oh, I am a little bit snobby, but I would never like be funny about whatever anybody else used. Do you know what I mean? Totally up to you what you use. It's just that I have a particular like.
You like that there are fibres that you like the experience of knitting with. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Whereas because I do a lot of children's and baby garments,
yes,
it's constantly in my mind of what's this like next to the skin, and how is this going to wash in a washing machine, because very few parents have time for hand washing.
Oh yes,
so
100%. I would never knit baby stuff in hand dyed.
We have quite different needs when it comes to yarn, so that means you get a varied opinion from Kelly and I when we're looking at a yarn. I'll be looking for certain qualities, and you'll be maybe looking for others when it comes to designing.
Yes.
So today this was very much in my wheelhouse. Being 100% premium acrylic, it to me doesn't feel like it's going to pill. It's nice and sturdy, and I would be surprised if it didn't wash and wear really well.
Yeah, I
It comes
agree.
in 10 shades with some quite fun,
I know.
the fun
The
names,
colours are
aren't they?
amazing.
Yeah.
All the yarn names are named after kids' games or equipment. They're just... So I'm going to read them out to you.
Yeah,
There is
go on.
Piggy in the Middle, Paddling Pool, Monkey Bars, Frisbee, which is one I got, Tiddlywinks, Patter Cake, Marbles, which is the other one I got, Bucket and Spade, Bouncy Castle, and Hopscotch. The names are just absolutely fantastic. I love that.
Yeah,
So
somebody's
good.
put some thought into that.
Yes, definitely.
So
Definitely.
it inspired me to get out the crochet hook. I thought, okay, what am
Yeah.
I going to do with this? I'm fairly confident this is going to knit up nicely. Let's see how we go with the hook. And this is Bucket and Spade. So I
Oh, wow.
made a tiny little hexagon cardie, and that
That's
was
so
fun
cute.
to make. And I think it'll fit a teddy quite nicely. So that kept me out of
Ah.
mischief when I had COVID. So I literally just sat making the hexagon, which you then fold, she says. It's just 2 hexagons that are joined, and then seamed across the shoulders.
Oh, that's so clever.
And then down the back. So if you want to make one, just keep going to whatever size you want with a basic hexagon pattern.
Yeah. That's so cool.
I used a slightly bigger hook. I think it was a 4.5mm, because it's quite a plump
Yeah,
yarn.
it is. It's fat yarn, isn't it? It is. You can tell it's a DK. I don't think it knits up to an Aran, but it's just really squidgy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's got an almost felt-like feel.
Yeah.
As in sheets of felt. It gave me that. Yeah. I like it. It's something that I would be tempted to use again. Love the colour palette.
I do. As soon as I got it through the post, I was like, oh my God, they look amazing. I just love the colours. I got, I think this one is Frisbee. Yeah. Frisbee and Marbles. Which is a good job I didn't lose it. So this one's Frisbee, which is the one I used. The label's broken because I've used it. And this one is Marbles. Look at them. That's like ice cream. They just remind me of ice cream, and they're just so fun.
They're fresh as well.
Yeah.
Fresh. There's a kind of freshness to those.
Yeah. And they've got really fat striping in them. And the striping's kind of like a sandwich type striping. So what I mean is, it starts yellow and then you get a pale pink. And then the dark pink is really fat. But then it goes pale pink yellow again. So you get like a dark pink sandwich, is what I mean. And then I did a lace one. It's this way. I did a lace one. And that's the same. It's like a white sandwich because you have yellow, then the turquoise, then it's a fat white bit, and then it goes turquoise and it has yellow again. So it's like a white sandwich. That's what I mean. But it's blowing out, so I'll put pictures up. But there's just colours are amazing, and the lace really stands out in it. It does. It doesn't like swallow your lace at all. It really does pop out in there. So yeah, it's 100% for baby knits all day. Definitely. I did find that when I was knitting with it, it was a little bit squeaky on my needles. But once it's off the needles, it's not. And it's really lovely. It's just on the needles. I wasn't enjoying knitting with it as much. But that's just me, because that's just how I am with acrylic. I'm a fussy person.
You have your preferences?
I do. But it's 100-gram balls. You get 360 meters. It suggests a 4mm needle. I couldn't find, which is a US 6. I couldn't find my 4mm needle, so I used a 4.5, which is a US 7. Yes, 4.5 is US 7. You're shaking your head. Are you disagreeing with me?
No, I mean, how do you remember that off the top of your head?
I know. My baseline is the 4mm is a US 6, and then I can go down or up from it. That's how I remember. And I have to do it a lot. But but yes, and it's £4.50 a ball, which is, so you are looking at a budget yarn, 100mm, 360 meters. You are looking at a budget yarn, and it's beautiful. The colours are just beautiful. Really, really nice. So yeah, baby knits.
Big
have a
thank you
thumbs up.
to Wool Warehouse for sending that over to have a play with.
Yeah, definitely.
And some lucky teddy will be getting a Hexicardi. I wonder if we can make one to fit Bertie. He's like, oh, no, you don't. I've seen you eyeing up those granny squared dog coats.
Make one for Sansa. Be like this, like a tent.
You could reuse it as a sofa cover, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could. Oh, dear me.
Oh, I did mean also to say about the baby play DK. There are 5 free patterns to download with that yarn.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there's some cutesies in there. There's some cardies, jumpers, hats and mitts. So go and check those out as well. So you buy the yarn and you've got some patterns to get you started.
Yeah. Lovely, lovely stuff. So, what's our knitty news? To do this. Knitty news.
Coming to you live from the studio, knitty news. I thought I would do a little bit of kind of enabling, not strictly yarn enabling today. The Knitting and Stitching Show at Harrogate in Yorkshire is coming up between the 16th and the 19th of November.
Yes.
And I thought I would remind you to pop that note in your diary. And I think I've managed to persuade you to join me there on the Saturday.
Yes, I think we're going to head over, aren't we? And have a look. So it's more like a trade show, isn't it? I've never been before.
No, it's more commercial.
Oh, that's right.
So you've been to a lot of the indie shows, a lot of the small makers, the indie dyers. Harrogate is in a convention centre. So it's a big old show. And it has probably 50 or 60 workshops running. As well, their programme of workshops and talks and demonstrations is extensive. So there is lots to do as well as shopping. And of course, it's Harrogate. So Harrogate's beautiful. And then you have to go to Betty's tea rooms.
We have to get tea and scones.
At Betty's. Yeah. That has to be done. Definitely. Yes. But you get a lot more of the commercial stands. So you'll get the big box guys, the online retailers. There. Not so many indie dyed yarns.
Yeah.
You'll get a lot of sewing, a lot of fabric. Used to be lots of cross stitch, but I don't think that's as popular now. So maybe not so much cross stitch, needle punching, felting, a much broader range of crafts.
So it's more craft than knitting. It's knitting and stitching, isn't it? So yeah. More like
there's usually a nice big exhibition of work that's quite inspiring as well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I thought we would toddle along, take the camera.
Yes, and I'll show you around.
Yeah. So if you're going on the Saturday, give us a shout, and if there's any interest, we'll have a little meet up somewhere.
Yeah. I wonder if there's anywhere to have a cuppa.
Oh, there is.
Do you think there'll be a cafe or something?
Yep.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yes. So
that's what we like.
Pop a comment below if you're heading off, or if you've got any recommendations, things to do while we're there, places and people, stands we have to visit. I'm hoping Ethel and Joan are going to be there. They make buttons and acrylic accessories. To check them out. Really pretty, really unusual, and I do like to use their buttons for some of my kids' designs. So
I've not heard of them before.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you'll spend some pennies there.
Oh, don't. I can't. Spent all my pennies at Yarndale. I've got to be careful now. I will definitely not be coming home with a stash like I did at Yarndale, because Christmas is coming and I have to be a good girl. But I might get a few little bits.
I tend to end up buying buttons, and the fabric does call to me a little bit. But I come back inspired.
Yes.
It's that being with other crafty people and the colours and the textures. I usually come home inspired with a belly full of
Oh,
tea and
good.
cake, which
Yeah.
is the
Oh,
important thing.
nice. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that and getting to spend some time with you in person.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the nitty news.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now for the weather. Over to Bertie.
Yeah. Oh, talking of weather, we've had a weather warning that it's going to start raining tomorrow and not stop until Saturday. Joy. So that's going to be lovely.
It's going to make for a bad hair day, that, isn't it?
Yeah, we're on a yellow weather warning.
Not yellow rain. You want to stay clear of that.
Oh, I know. No thanks. So I want to put a reminder out to people to ask us your questions. Any questions, anything you want to know. Doesn't have to be like design related or doesn't have to be knitting related. It can be anything you want to know about me and Jane. Obviously not too personal.
Kelly's relationship with Sebastian.
Yeah. Anything you want to know, pop your questions either below or you can email them to us if you want to keep it private and we don't have to say your name or anything you want to know. Just, yeah, do that. The email is below as well in the description box.
If you'd like to join us on the I'm Too Socksy Cow, head on over to my Ravelry page, is where you'll find this pattern, and on Love Crafts. There'll be a link in the show notes to send you whizzing over there so you can join in the fun and hopefully win some goodies.
Yeah, so many goodies.
So many goodies.
I'm gonna join secretly. Just make a new account and pretend it's not me.
I already have. Have you seen my sock? It's fabulous.
Oh, it's been lovely chatting with everybody again. So we will see you in a couple of weeks. Remember to give us the thumbs up and click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're racing ahead. We're on our way to 200.
But
That would
Bertie
be
said
nice.
if you could hit the subscribe button, he'd be very happy, and particularly if his mum would stop talking at the screen.
So we'll see you in, is it a week or is it 2? I can't remember.
We'll see you in 2 weeks' time, where hopefully we'll have an
2
exciting interview for you, and that's all we're
right.
saying.
That's right. Ooh,
So hit that subscribe button
exciting.
and the notifications, because
Yes.
you won't want to miss this industry insider interview.
Yes. See you next time.
Bye.